I think the time off was just really helpful for all of us from a standpoint of getting reset mentally, emotionally, physically, just because the first part of our schedule was so demanding. And
Caitlin Clark has done it again, but this time she's made history. In a game that was supposed to be just another chapter in her rookie season, Clark delivered a performance that stunned the entire WNBA, outshining none other than the legendary Diana Taurasi. This wasn't just a game, it was a passing of the torch. With 29 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds, Caitlin Clark didn't just lead her team to victory, she redefined what it means to be a rookie in the WNBA. But the real story? How this one game has shifted the entire landscape of the league. When Caitlin Clark faced off against Diana Taurasi in the Phoenix Mercury, everyone knew it would be special. On one side, you had the rookie sensation who's been taking the league by storm. On the other, the living legend, a player who's been the face of women's basketball for years. The stakes were high. Clark was not just playing for a win, but to prove that she's the future of the WNBA. And Taurasi? She was there to remind everyone that she still got it. What no one expected was just how intense this showdown would be. From the first whistle, it was clear that the Indiana Fever came to make a statement. The Fever jumped out to a 17-point lead in the first quarter, with Clark putting on a clinic. She racked up 16 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds in just the first period. Her connection with Kelsey Mitchell was on full display as the duo tore apart the Mercury's defense. By halftime, the Fever had built a commanding 28-point lead, leaving the Mercury and their fans in stunned silence. It seemed like Clark and the Fever were unstoppable. But if there's one thing Diana Taurasi is known for, it's her resilience. The Mercury came out in the third quarter with a renewed energy, chipping away at the Fever's lead. Suddenly, what looked like an easy victory was anything but. The Mercury outscored the Fever 28-9 in the third, cutting the lead to just 8 points. The momentum had shifted, and the Fever looked rattled. It was now a game of nerves, and it was anyone's to win. As the fourth quarter began, all eyes were on Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. This was the moment where legends are made, and Clark didn't disappoint. She took control of the game, dictating the pace and hitting key shots when her team needed them most. Mitchell, meanwhile, caught fire, draining 2 clutch three-pointers that kept the Fever in the lead. Together, they managed to fend off the Mercury's comeback attempt, sealing a 98-89 victory. But this win was more than just another game. It was a statement that the Fever, led by their rookie star, are a force to be reckoned with. This performance didn't just win the game. It may have won Caitlin Clark the Rookie of the Year award. Her 29 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds weren't just impressive, they were historic. Clark became the first rookie in WNBA history to record multiple games with at least 25 points and 10 assists. While Angel Reese has been a strong contender, this game might have tipped the scales decisively in Clark's favor. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the impact. Clark isn't just playing well, she's leading her team to the playoffs, something rarely seen from a rookie. With this victory, the Indiana Fever have taken a giant step towards securing a playoff spot. Now with a 12-15 record, they sit in 7th place, well within striking distance of the postseason. This is a remarkable turnaround for a team that few expected to compete this year. But with Clark and Mitchell leading the way, the Fever are proving that they can hang with the best. The road ahead won't be easy, but if they can maintain this level of play, they could be the dark horse of the playoffs. But here's the real question. Can Caitlin Clark continue this historic run and lead the Fever to an unlikely playoff berth? And if she does, what will it mean for the future of the WNBA? One thing's for sure, the league will never be the same. So do you think Clark has already locked up the Rookie of the Year award? Or does Angel Reese still have a chance? And what about the Fever? Are they a legitimate playoff threat? Or will their weaknesses be exposed when it matters most? Let us know in the comments, and if you want to keep up with all the latest WNBA action, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. The best is yet to come.
All the money and visibility she bring into the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She bringing all y'all this money to the table, but y'all being petty like dudes. LeBron, you are 100% right.
They said she was just a rookie, but Caitlin Clark has become the talk of the WNBA. And not just for her game. Caitlin Clark, the 22-year-old rookie sensation, has been breaking records, drawing massive crowds, and boosting viewership like no one else in recent memory. But with fame comes an unexpected price: hate and animosity from within her own league. Today, we're diving into the heated reactions Caitlyn's been facing, including a powerful response from none other than LeBron James. Let's start with the undeniable: Caitlin Clark is a force. With stats that rival some of the best in the league, she's already being compared to legends. This season alone, Clark has outshot NBA stars from beyond the arc and set records as the fastest player to reach 250 points and 100 assists in WNBA history. Her influence has transformed the WNBA's visibility, drawing in millions of new viewers and packing arenas across the country. But with all this success, something else has been brewing beneath the surface: jealousy, criticism, and outright hostility. Why? Because Caitlin Clark is doing something the league has never seen before, and not everyone is thrilled about it. LeBron James, a superstar who knows a thing or two about dealing with haters, saw this coming from miles away. Years before Caitlin even stepped onto a WNBA court, LeBron predicted that her talent and fame would make her a target. And just as he warned, the backlash has been fierce. Clark's presence has sparked a mix of admiration and resentment. Veterans of the league, like Diana Taurasi and Kennedy Carter, haven't held back in expressing their frustrations, sometimes even on the court. Whether it's flopping, mocking, or throwing shade on social media, these players have made it clear that they're not ready to give Caitlin a warm welcome. For instance, a flagrant foul by Kennedy Carter and social media mockery by Delisha Lloyd are just some of the incidents that have highlighted the growing animosity towards Clark. One of the more controversial aspects of Caitlyn's rise has been the discussion around pretty privilege and white privilege. Some commentators and players have insinuated that Clark's marketability and appeal are due more to her looks and race than her skills. This narrative has only added fuel to the fire as Caitlin continues to dominate headlines and secure sponsorship deals that have eluded other players for years. Despite this, Clark remains focused on her game, refusing to let the noise distract her. But as the pressure mounts, so does the scrutiny. Critics like Cheryl Swoops and Brianna Stewart have even questioned the legitimacy of her records, pointing to the extra year of eligibility and the lack of a championship as reasons to downplay her achievements. Enter LeBron James again, this time stepping in to defend Caitlin against the rising tide of negativity. LeBron knows all too well what it's like to be the most hated and the most loved at the same time. He sees Caitlin not just as a player, but as a symbol of something bigger, a new era for the WNBA, where talent and impact can't be ignored. LeBron has been vocal in his support for Clark, repeatedly calling out the haters and urging them to respect her game and the excitement she's bringing to the league. On his podcast, Mind the Game, LeBron offered Caitlin some sage advice.
Put your blinders on, go to work, show up to work, punch your clock in, prepare yourself.
He emphasized the importance of focusing on her craft and learning from experienced players rather than getting bogged down by negativity. LeBron's advice is simple but powerful. Keep your mouth shut and let your game do the talking. LeBron isn't alone in this. NBA legends like Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley have also come to Caitlyn's defense. Barkley on TNT labeled the critics as petty and urged them to stop and thank Clark for the increased visibility and money she's bringing to the WNBA.
All the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She got y'all ass charters. She bringing all y'all this money to the table, but y'all being petty like dudes. LeBron, you are 100% right.
Other NBA players such as Gilbert Arenas and Nick Young have echoed similar sentiments, rallying behind Clark and highlighting the professional jealousy that seems to be driving some of the harshest criticism. Yet as Caitlin Clark continues to shine, the pressure to conform to the expectations of her critics grows. The WNBA is a league that prides itself on unity and empowerment, but Caitlin's presence has highlighted a divide, one that pits tradition against change and players against each other. LeBron's message is clear. Caitlin Clark is here to stay, and the league will either adapt or miss out on the opportunities she's creating. But can Caitlin withstand the relentless scrutiny? Or will the pressure to fit in with the established order dull her shine? Before Caitlin even set foot on a WNBA court, she was already a household name in college basketball. Her dominance at the NCAA level was nothing short of legendary. In her freshman year, she shattered records for assists and points, becoming the fastest Big Ten player to reach 1,000 career points. Her scoring abilities drew comparisons to NBA sharpshooters, and she quickly became known as the Steph Curry of women's basketball. Her sophomore and junior seasons only solidified her status as a generational talent. She was the first player in NCAA history, male or female, to record consecutive 40-point triple-doubles in the tournament, and her 191 total points in a single tournament remain unmatched. With each game, the expectations for her professional career grew, and so did the pressure to live up to the hype. But with her success came the inevitable backlash. Critics began to scrutinize her every move, questioning whether she could maintain her level of play in the WNBA. As she transitioned from college to the pros, the weight of those expectations seemed to intensify the animosity from her peers. LeBron James's support for Caitlin Clark is more than just a show of solidarity. It's a powerful endorsement from one of the greatest players of all time. By publicly backing Caitlin, LeBron is sending a message to the entire basketball community. Caitlin Clark is not just another rookie, she's a game changer, and she deserves respect. LeBron's defense of Caitlin also stems from a personal place. He has compared Caitlin's experience to that of his own son, Bronny James, who is also facing significant scrutiny and criticism as he pursues his dreams of entering the NBA. On his podcast, LeBron expressed empathy for Caitlin, saying,
Because I'm getting the same, thing from watching my son, who's a 19-year-old, kind of getting a lot of animosity and hatred towards him when he's just a kid trying to live out his dream.
He highlighted the rarity of opportunities to play professional sports and criticized the negativity directed at young athletes like Caitlin and Bronny. LeBron's comments underscore the challenges young athletes face, regardless of their gender or the sports they play. The pressures are immense, and the scrutiny is constant. Yet LeBron remains optimistic about Caitlin's future, urging her to stay focused and continue pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the WNBA. And that's the real question. How much can one player take before it all becomes too much? As Caitlin Clark faces the toughest challenge of her young career, the entire WNBA and the world are watching. Will she rise above, or will the weight of expectations and animosity bring her down? Only time will tell. If you think the Caitlin Clark saga ends here, think again. In our next video, we'll dive deeper into the rising tensions within the WNBA and how Caitlin's journey could reshape the future of the league forever. Stay tuned. Imagine this. Caitlin Clark, fresh off her historic college run, steps onto the court. The crowd roars, but in seconds, she's slammed to the floor. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Is this just tough love from seasoned pros? Or is the WNBA targeting its newest star? Today, we're diving into the league's roughest plays and how one rookie sensation might be getting more than her fair share of hard knocks. Caitlin Clark's transition to the pros, it's been anything but smooth. The WNBA has always been known for its physical style of play. It's part of what makes the game exciting. But lately, fans and analysts alike are wondering, has it gone too far? Let's rewind to the start of the 2024 season. Caitlin Clark, fresh off her record-breaking college career, steps onto the court for her pro debut. The anticipation is electric. But what happens next shocks everyone. Within the first quarter, Clark is knocked to the ground 3 times. Hard. We're talking bone-rattling hits that leave her visibly shaken. Is this just tough defense or something more? Physical play isn't new in women's basketball. Legends like Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops faced their share of rough treatment. But the game has evolved, and so have the players. They're stronger, faster, and more skilled than ever before. But here's where things get alarming. In just 10 games, Clark's been fouled an average of 7.2 times per game, nearly double the league average. This isn't just rough play, it's an onslaught. Take the game against the Chicago Sky. Midway through the third quarter, Clark drives to the basket. As she goes up for the layup, Chennedy Carter crashes into her, shoulder-checking Clark and sending her hard to the floor. The foul wasn't even called initially, igniting controversy and raising questions about whether officials are turning a blind eye. Clark's stats tell the story. She's been whistled for 32 personal fouls this season, fourth most in the league, and involved in 78 total foul calls, the highest of any player. This isn't just about playing hard, it's about targeted aggression. In a recent game against the New York Liberty, Clark found herself in another precarious situation. After being hit on a screen, she signaled to her ear, clearly in discomfort. She briefly left the game, reportedly dealing with temporary hearing issues, before returning to the court. This incident, among others, has sparked a debate. Is Caitlin Clark being unfairly targeted and even bullied by veteran players who might resent her immense popularity and hype? Critics argue this is just part of the game. She needs to toughen up, they say. But is that fair? Or is Clark being singled out because of her star power? Let's take a look at her fellow rookie stars. While they've faced physical play, none have been body-checked, double-teamed, and left on the hardwood like Clark. Why the special treatment? Even the WNBA's response has been criticized as tepid. Commissioner Adam Silver downplayed the situation, dismissing the rough play as a welcome-to-the-league moment. But for many, this explanation isn't enough. The calls to protect Clark and other young stars from overly aggressive tactics that could lead to injuries are growing louder. It's not just about Clark. The overall level of physicality in the WNBA has been ramping up for years. Players are getting injured more frequently. Games are becoming more about brute force than skill and finesse. Take the recent matchup between the Las Vegas Aces and the Connecticut Sun. What should have been a showcase of elite talent turned into a slugfest. By the final buzzer, 3 players had left the game with injuries. So what's driving this trend? Some point to the increased stakes. With more money and media attention in women's basketball, the pressure to win has never been higher. Others argue it's a natural evolution of the sport as players get stronger and more athletic. But there's a fine line between tough competition and dangerous play, and right now that line is getting blurrier by the game. Let's circle back to Clark. Despite the rough treatment, she's still putting up impressive numbers. But at what cost? In a post-game interview, Clark admitted, "Sometimes it feels like I'm playing football out there." She acknowledges she'll take a few hard shots per game and tries not to let it bother her, accepting it as part of the rookie initiation process. But how long can this go on? This isn't just about one player, it's about the future of the league. If rising stars like Clark are constantly at risk, what message does this send to young talent? And what does it mean for the future of the WNBA, where fans come to witness skill, not skirmishes? Fans tune in to see amazing athletes perform at the highest level. They want to see Clark's incredible three-pointers, not watch her pick herself up off the floor time and time again. The treatment Clark has endured highlights a broader issue: the challenges young phenoms face when entering professional sports leagues. Veteran players, perhaps threatened by the new wave of talent, might resort to physicality to maintain their dominance. But should this be the norm? Let's consider the impact on the WNBA as a whole. If the league doesn't address these aggressive tactics, it risks alienating both current and future stars. The excitement of watching top-tier talent could be overshadowed by concerns for player safety. So what's the solution? Some are calling for stricter enforcement of existing rules. Others want new regulations specifically targeting excessive physical play. There's even talk of implementing harsher penalties for flagrant fouls to deter overly aggressive behavior. The league is at a crossroads. As the WNBA continues to grow in popularity, it needs to decide what kind of game it wants to be. A showcase of skill and athleticism, or a physical battle where only the toughest survive? The debate around physicality in the WNBA isn't just heating up, it's boiling over. And Caitlin Clark? She's at the center of the storm. Will the league crack down, or will the hits keep coming? One thing's for sure, every time Clark takes the court, it's not just her shots we're watching, it's the battle she's fighting to play her game.